Hey everybody, I'll bet you are going to guess what our today's topic is. And I'm going to bet that you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking. Wrenches? Really? I thought this was a repair channel. Isn't it? Well, yeah, it is. But lately I haven't been doing much projects and, well, I've been wanting to do some tool videos for a while and I don't know. Something to do, I guess. So today I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about the wrenches I have and what the differences are. First thing we'll start off with is gear wrenches. This happens to be a Crescent brand gear wrench. It is a flex head, non-reversing, which means that it only goes in one direction. You have to literally flip it over to change directions. Some of you guys might say, gee, that sucks. Well, I look at it this way. It's one less mechanism in there, and these are already tiny mechanisms, and I haven't broken any of them, but then again, I don't usually use them to break anything loose or get really carried away tightening them. So, once in a while, I have used these to break things loose, and I kind of thought maybe I shouldn't have afterwards, but they have held up to everything I've thrown at them, and I've been very happy. This is a standard one. No flex head, non-reversing. They also have an open end. You guys can see they're just a plain unfinished open end. So that is retching wrenches. These are not all the same size. These are just random picks that I grabbed, except for the standards here, which are 9/16, because it just was going in pattern. Now if you see these two here, one on the right is Craftsman, one on the left is Snap-on. Now you'll notice that this one's longer, this one's shorter. Now that's because you can buy wrenches in different lengths. And I'm going to show this to you again with this setup here. This is also Snap-on. This happens to be two 7/16 wrenches I have that came from, one from my grandpa, one from another old fella that I have dealt with over the years. This one was my grandpa's. Anyhow, this is a short length and a long length 7/16 Snap-on wrench. You can also buy this sort of thing from most manufacturers of wrenches, and you can even go one step shorter. Now this looks like it's the same length, but that's just because it's a much larger size wrench. This is what they call a stubby. Now this is a 13/16 in size, so now if we go and compare that to its actual 13/16 partner, which is way over here. There's the 13/16 normal wrench. Here's its stubby variant, half the size. Now you're probably wondering, why would I want a shorter wrench? Don't I want a longer wrench? Well, that depends on where you're working. Some places you only have room for a stubby wrench, and I'll be honest with you, that's the only stubby wrench I own. I've always been going to buy a set or two, just haven't gotten there. Haven't needed them that much. Alright, now this is another variant. It's called a double box end wrench. This one's set for an offset, as you notice that it's moved over from the straight beam of the wrench versus a standard wrench which only has a slight offset. Now sometimes these are also called an obstruction wrench because they can get around different areas that other wrenches cannot. And they're also much longer than your standard wrench. Probably half again as long. But if you get a regular long wrench, not so much. But that's okay, because you wanted a double box wrench, so you had a nice strong box end, and you wanted a deep offset so you could get around an obstruction. Like let's say you wanted to work on this bolt right over here. Well, you can get on that with a sock because it's open, but let's say you couldn't. You'd employ a wrench such as this so you could work around that starter and get it off. Now there's another variant of the box wrench, which is what you would commonly referred to as just a standard double end box wrench. You can see that this Matco wrench has a slight offset versus the deep offset obstruction or box wrench. This one just has a straight beam and a slightly bent end on both of these. And I believe that's about 15 degrees. Now this would work great if you're out here working on, let's say, these cover bolts. If I can get the camera in view. You just keep working on them because they're stubborn. You want the length and you need a box end for the strength because the open end would slip off. These box end wrenches that I have are Matco. I have a metric set of these and I really like them. I first found some at a swap meet. Didn't buy them at the time. I was being a cheapskate. I could have gone for really cheap. But I actually use these a lot when I rebuilt my truck. And very handy, very nice. I'm glad to have them. Work great. I do not know if they have any special... Well, let's see if we can see it. I believe these are OptiTorque, I believe they call these box ends. Or if you're a Snap-on freak, it's like flank drive, where they grab on the flat of the bolt versus the corner of the bolt. Now this is a standard metric Matco wrench, standard length. But the nice thing about this one, it's got the OptiTorque front, which if you're a Snap-on freak, it's flank drive plus. If you're an Armstrong guy, it's right grip. Now what this will do is this will grab onto a rounded or stuck bolt far longer before it strips and give you a chance at grabbing that fastener, whereas a standard wrench without it would just slip off because there's nothing extra there to give. This wrench here is a flare nut wrench. Now this happens to be the Snap-on variety. It has one open end, which you're saying, why would I want an open end? Well, with flare nut wrenches, they're extremely thick, very heavy, and they're designed with that open end so you can get them around the tube and break it loose. Now once you've broken it loose, you can take that off, flip it around, and go to the open end. Now this open end you can see is much thicker than a standard wrench. Let's see, I'll go to the Snap-on so we have a comparison. Notice how much thicker that is? It is much thicker, so that way it has the strength of being able to move that. I do believe that they leave them this strong so that way you can possibly break things loose with them as well. But I wouldn't recommend it if you have no choice, because or I wouldn't recommend unless you have no choice. I mean, if you can avoid it at all costs, use a flare nut wrench or something to break that loose beforehand. This is just a regular Craftsman standard, and here's a kind of an off variety of the gear wrench or ratcheting wrench. Well, this end is just like my others. It is only one way, non-flex, non-reversing. It is a little bit tapered. It is maybe a little bit tighter than the standard wrench. But here's the open end. Now they do make ratcheting open end wrenches. And this happens to be the only ones I own like this. I have a whole set of ratcheting wrenches that are like this. Or not a complete set, but a near complete set. And you know what? This actually works. I've tried Craftsman ones that other people have had. I've tried Snap-on ones. I've tried a bunch of them. And you know what? They all have a gigantic swing arc to reset. Because you have to go from one flat to the next. And while I understand that, and that's fine, most people don't like them because of that. But I have found that these ones seem to grab where the other ones, they just seem to be kind of annoying. Even the Snap-on ones I really didn't care for, but these seem to work. A lot of them are much deeper, instead of being shallow like this. I think Snap-on could have updated theirs already, even. And I could be wrong on that, but I think they did, and I think they're shallower actually. You can notice I have this one, this one, this one, this one, that one. I guess, and that one. So I have quite a few of them. They're actually quite handy. I don't use them all the time, but when I need them, they are there. So I've given you guys kind of a variety between your generic Craftsmans, your high-end Snap-on Matco. This substructure wrench happens to be a Blackhawk. I use all of them. I don't really favor one over the other too much, depending on what I'm doing. Once in a while I'll favor my my Matcos, because I have a full set of Matcos in metric. They seem to work great. They fit in tight spots. They're thin. Oh, and that was another point I wanted to make with that. If if I can get you guys in here to notice that, you will notice now the Craftsman is on. What's that? If I can get these back in line, hold on. It's tougher than it looks, guys. Alright, now hold on. If I can possibly make this work. Okay. Ah! Stay. Okay. Notice how the Matco, and then the Craftsman, and then the Snap-on. Now the Matco is the thinnest next to Craftsman, and the Snap-on is thicker. Now I like the Matco being thinner because I can get in tighter spaces, but it may not have the strength on this end to break loose something if that's the only way I can break it loose, which is where that OptiTorque open end comes in. So, thinner, but is it less strong or not? I don't know. I've never tried comparing the two as far as actual, having an actual job to compare them to on. But I do know that the Snap-on is thicker and the Craftsman is thinner. So, depending on the job you're doing, you may want a certain wrench because it fits in a certain spot. I know when I go to take my grinder, I cannot use my Snap-on 7/8. I have to reach for my Craftsman 7/8 because it does not fit in the location to take that apart. What drawer is that? That's this drawer. Nope, wrong drawer. Now watch, it won't come out. Everything are so tight. Yeah, you guys can see that a lot better. Snap it on left, Craftsman on the right. One's much thicker than the other. That may make them stronger, but that doesn't always mean that they are the tool for the job. So, I hope you guys learned a little something today, and that I created a good video for you. Please leave your comments below. Please like it if you liked it, and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos. I am encouraged more to make more videos by every subscriber I see, and all the comments telling me what they'd like to see. I will eventually get back to more repair videos, but for now, I'm just kind of going along with what ideas pop into my head. And if you don't like that, let me know. I can definitely stop doing that, but it seems to work so far. So I will talk to you guys later.